Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be continuing and probably finishing this panda from Crafter Square kit that I got at the Dollar Tree. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, apologies. I went on a business trip down to Mississippi, and then I actually have another trip coming up in a couple of weeks to Tennessee. I've never been this busy in the past, 4 years, 5 years now, at least like this. So my filming and posting have been thrown off. I definitely haven't been able to work in my regular routine to get these videos out to you guys. So for that, I apologize. I am going to try to finish up this panda in this video, and we're going to move on to the cactus. And after the cactus, we are going to move to the bee. So that's going to take, about 2-3 weeks to get those other guys out. There are other kits. There's about 6 characters in total for this new set of characters for Crafter Square. That I'm really excited to show, because the first 6 that I did were utter nightmares. But along with that, I do have a ton of other stuff. I have to do a Crafter Square cross stitch kit. I don't have the original kit, but I do have the instructions. So I will be doing the letter S as per request, like long time ago already. I feel so bad. But then I do have to complete the Nightmare Before Christmas characters. We're going to start a new character. What else is on the docket? And then I have the Annie's Afghan kit. There's 2 different ones. I started with the regular square month of the month club or something like that. But now I do have the Moroccan tile, so I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between the 2. And this is for me. I do eventually have to put everything out there on my channel eventually, but to do the same thing like with the Nightmare Before Christmas, it gets a little crazy for me. I need to switch it up. So we're going to do that. And then we'll see what's going on. But then I do have my nail videos. I do have a April mystery box unboxing coming up, because I'm going to be doing April dailies. So if you have not been accustomed to my channel yet, I do both crafts and nails, and I'm going to be doing daily nails for the mystery boxes again. So it's going to be a lot of videos, you guys. There's not going to be content that you wouldn't be able to see. But on top of that, and I'm letting you know in this video, because I do have a crochet viewer that kind of mentioned something, but the last time I had a giveaway, I presented it in the live, just because, I have my regular viewers that hop on all the time. So I wanted to present my 2,000 subscriber giveaway to that. But I will be holding an eventual giveaway again. I am going to be doing an April Fool's video for you guys, but it's not what you think it's going to be. I am going to take over my husband's channel. It's going to be hilarious. So if you are subscribed and end up viewing that video, you have to timestamp Dexter's appearance in that video, and you'll automatically get a little something. I'm not sure what it'll be yet, but just as a thank you for kind of hopping on his channel and subscribing and, showing some love for him. He's putting a lot of work into his channel, not as much as me, of course, but, I really want him to kind of feel good about, this whole process, because for those that do have channels, it's quite difficult and disheartening 90% of the time. Even till now for me. Alright, so let's continue. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback speeds to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me at all, lower the volume on your device, and then you can click on the CC button. So let's get started. I will be doing new instructions per video at least 3 times, step by step. And then from the rest on, it's going to be like whatever speed I choose to go. And then, of course, I will go read each instruction so that we are clear on what we're doing. Okay, so we did the panda's body And so funny. Shape it by hands. You haven't made them yet. Okay. And then we're gonna do the panda's hand, panda's ears, panda's nose, and panda's legs, and sewing the parts of the panda. Now I ran out of white, as we saw in the last video, so I'm gonna have to grab my own white. It's not gonna be the same. It's definitely not gonna be the same color. So we'll see what happens. It's going to look different from your guys's. And comment below, let me know if you do have that issue. I totally ran out of the white. It's always good to get backup yarn. They do sell yarn in those in the Dollar Tree stores. Not every store is the same though. So if you intend on trying something, I know you're like not sure if you want to commit to a project, but if you know you are, might as well buy the extra yarn if you can find it at the crafters at the Dollar Tree. If not, you'll have to buy it on Amazon or a hobby store or wherever else sells yarn, and it's not going to be the same, just to let you know. Okay, so for to make the panda's hand, now we have to do 2 of these. When I have to do 2 of something, I'm just going to do the other pair off film so that we just cut to the chase with the parts here. All right, round 1, chain 1, 6 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. So as we saw before in the instructions, that all of these are starting off with the magic ring. I am doing this righty. If you need a lefty, comment below. I will tack it on to my queue. I do have a long list of videos. If there's something you really want to see and you want priority, I do have my memberships. If you if you join a membership, you'll get priority over requests. I know I don't like to say that, but my list is really long. As you just saw, I have like a lot of stuff that I'm already doing. So if there's anything that you need to do, it's really gonna just be added on to my long list. Okay, to do a magic ring, hold your finger out. We're gonna take the yarn here and kind of wrap it, I guess 2-3 times or 2.5 times. We want to leave a little overage like this, and you want to make sure that you have 3 strands on your finger like that. We're going to take the middle finger and we're going to put it over that little overage. That's why we do it. So you can put your finger on there and hold it down. You can take a moment to kind of tighten up some of this if there's too much slack. Okay. Then we're going to palm up. So you turn your palm up, and we're going to take our hook here, hook up, and you're going to slip this underneath the 3 strands. Then we're going to drag this strand under these 2. So let's pull this under both of those strands. Okay. And then once we get to this point, we're going to yarn over, and that's putting the yarn over the hook like this. And we're going to pull this strand through this loop to close off this magic loop, right? And then we're going to remove our middle finger. We're going to slip the loops off our index, and then we're going to continue with round 1. I like to gather up a lot of yarn. I don't know why. It's just what I do. Okay, so now it says to chain 1. So chain 1 is the basic crochet stitch. If you ever want to learn it, all it is yarning over like that and pulling this through the loop. That's a chain 1. As simple as that. You can see the braiding, hopefully. I know with dark colors it's really hard to see the details, so hopefully you can kind of see it on your end. I mean, there's not really much on my side. You specifically need to see maybe just where to stick the hook when we get into stitches, but it's going to be really hard to see with the black yarn. All right, now we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. So to do a single crochet stitch, you're going to stick your hook into the magic loops like this. Okay. Voice is cracking. We're gonna yarn over and pull up a loop like this, right? Then we're gonna yarn over and we're gonna pull through 2 loops, and that is a single crochet stitch. and then next to it is our chain stitch. So now we just have to do this 5 more times. So into the magic loops, you want to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's 2 with the chain stitch. Okay, one more time with you guys. Put your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch. Let's do this 3 more times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you can always rewind if you need to go back and see how to do a single crochet stitch. I do have in my crochet playlist, I do have the magic loop for beginners, and it's for the left and right handers out there. So that would be nice to see if you are having difficulty with the magic loop. But now that we're here, we want to lightly grip the bottom part of this ring of stitches here, like that. Now we're going to pull this piece, and you see there's 2 loops right here. We're going to pull that excess piece, and we're going to see which loop goes in first. Okay, once you identify which one goes in first, you can stop pulling. So let's start pulling. And then I already see which one is moving in. You stop pulling. The one that moved in, you want to pull out the lower half. So whichever loop pulled in, you want to pull out from this end, not the top end, the bottom end. So let's pull that out, and as you pull that out, you're going to see the loop, the other loop go inside, and that's exactly what we want to see. You want to pull that until that whole loop is gone entirely, like that, and you'll have a little hole. That's okay, because we still have to pull the rest of this stuff. So now that we've hidden the first loop, we got to hide the second loop. We're going to pull the excess piece, and you're going to pull that until that loop is gone. And once that loop is gone entirely, then we're going to pull it in the opposite direction and up a little bit. You're going to feel a little bit more pull that you can do. You don't have to pull too crazy, but this is going to pull off all the excess piece left, and then your hole is going to be gone. Okay, so now we can continue with our slip stitch. So that's another simple stitch you can do. What we're going to do is count 6 stitches from your hook. So the little braids that I showed you here, we got to count 6 of them and put your hook into the 6th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the 6th stitch, you want to stick your hook in there, and it's going to be 2 loops you're going under because it's a braid. So you see here it's making a V. That's typical. You want to put your hook underneath that stitch which has that V, those 2 loops that make the braid. Okay, so once you do that, now you can do a slip stitch. And a slip stitch all is just yarning over and pulling this through all the loops off your hook, like that. So you should have 1 loop left on your hook, but now we close the round entirely. You can go in and use one of the, did this come with a marker? I think they do. If it didn't, try to get yourself some of these. You could use a different color yarn for now. Cut a little piece and fish it with your hook right under the last stitch we made, like we do with the hook. So you want to put it under that braid, under the V you see there. Okay, and then we're going to close this up. It's like a safety pin, but they call these stitch markers. You can buy them in packs in the hobby store or on Amazon. You can find them anywhere really, and they sell them in a pack for not that much, if you can get them, but they're definitely helpful if you have them. All right, so now we can move on to round 2. We have chain 1, single crochet stitch, an increasing stitch, and we repeat this 3 times, do a slip stitch, and end up with 9 stitches. Okay, so let's do a chain one, and you typically chain one every time you start a new round with these kits. So yarn over, pull that through the loop, and you have your chain one. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. Now an increasing stitch, all it is 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So I'll show you how to do that. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. And I think hopefully you can kind of see the stitches. Alright, so we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops to do a single crochet stitch. And like I said, all it is 2 in 1. So we're going to go back into that same stitch that we just used. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So black again is hard to see, but out of that 1 stitch I put 2 single crochet stitches in there. So now you should have 1, 2, 3 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch. Okay, so we just have to repeat this 2 more times. So into the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet stitch. Stick in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Next we're going to do an increasing stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then into that same stitch we just used, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we should have 6 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a chain stitch. Now we just have to repeat this 1 more time. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now into the next stitch that has the marker. Alright, you're going to stick in your hook. You can remove the marker if you want. I remove it later. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then into the same stitch with that marker, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now you can remove your marker if you haven't already. We're going to count back 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put your hook into the 9th stitch and we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through all loops off your hook. You should have 1 loop left on there. We're going to put our marker under the last stitch that we made and we're going to move on to round 3. So for rounds actually 3 through 6, which means if this is round 3, we can have round 4 and we can have round 5 in these markers. So if you're stopping and going and you have a lot going on, you don't necessarily need to focus so much all the time. You can know that you just used up these 2 markers and you completed this batch of instructions, which is why these are really good to have. And you know, I think these kits gave you 4 or 5. I don't know if they still do, I don't remember. But if they don't, sometimes there's kits, these kits specifically, that have like 3 through 20. How are you going to do that, you know, with just 2, you know? So like I said, it's always good to go and collect these. I collect them from all the kits that I've had, and I keep them, or you can buy them in a pack. Okay, not sure if where I left off because I was interrupted by work. I am doing this during my lunch. Okay, so for rounds 3 through 6, we're going to chain 1, So you're going to yarn over and pull that through the loop to chain 1. And then we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches and a slip stitch and end up with 9 stitches. So that's fairly simple. We're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. So into the next stitch. Okay. We're going to do 9 of these. 1, make sure you clear the yarn. The yarn quality isn't that great, so you could pierce it and go in between the threads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and we're going to leave the marker in here because it's going to keep track of how many we're doing. But from here you want to count 9 single crochet stitches or 9 stitches and do a slip stitch. So from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, put your hook into the 9th stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through all the loops, and we're going to mark the last stitch that we did. Okay, now your project is going to curl in. As you see, it's making this really cool little basket thing, but you have this excess piece just flapping in the wind. What we're going to do is invert your project. You want to flip it inside out. So just take this back side and curl it inside. And you can tell that you have the right side showing because the excess piece will now be on the inside. And you can see the rows separate, clear as day, even though it's a dark color. That's how you know. Okay. The excess piece you can just stuff in here. That'll act as stuffing. But we're going to move on to the next round. So we're going to chain 1. And we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. Then we're going to count back 9 stitches and do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9. Put in your hook into the 9th stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and then you're going to take your last marker here. We're going to mark the last stitch we've made, and we have to do this set of instructions just one more time. Okay, so gather up some yarn here. And normally when I do these repetitive rounds, I just go silent. I'll mute the mic, but these are kind of short, so I didn't feel like doing that. Okay, so chain 1 and 9 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to count back 9 from the hook. 3, 6, 9, and we're going to do a slip stitch. And then since we used up all these markers, I'm going to remove this one, put it at the last stitch we made, and I'm going to remove the other 2. And then we're going to move on to the next round. So for round 7, we have to chain 1. We're going to do a single crochet stitch, a decreasing stitch 3 times, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. Stuff with fiber fill and shape it by hand. Shape it by hands. Oh, that's what that means. I'll tell you this. This is 9 stitches, and I can fit my finger in here. If we subtract 3 stitches, the hole will be this much smaller. You can choose to stuff when it gets this smaller, or you can choose to stuff now. I'm going to stuff now. You could always use your hook to push in the last bits, but this is the leftover that I have, so I don't think it's going to take much. Let's start small. You want it to match the firmness of the body, which is actually pretty firm, but okay. And I'm pretty sure that, well, let's see, no stuffing there. I don't know why there's no stuffing in here, but no stuffing here. Okay, so it looks like we can fill this with a good amount of stuffing. Try to make it neat so that when we continue these stitches, we don't accidentally crochet into the fiber fill. It'll pull out, and then you'll be able to see it against a dark color like black. So let's do round 7. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. Okay, then I want to show you how to do a decreasing stitch, and it's pretty much opposite from increasing. So we're going to take 2 stitches and make it into 1. So I'll show you how to do that. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop. Okay, so now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to stick your hook into the next stitch over. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3 loops off your hook. So as you see here, we have 1 stitch, but we use 2 stitches to make it. So now we just have to repeat this 2 more times. Into the next stitch, do your single crochet stitch. Then into the next stitch, we're going to start our decreasing stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Then put your hook into the next stitch over. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we have our decreasing stitch. So now we just have to repeat this 1 more time. So into the next stitch, do your single crochet stitch. Then we're going to do our final decreasing stitch. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then into the next stitch over with the marker, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops off the hook. You can remove your marker. We're going to count back 6 stitches, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stick in your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops off your hook. And I'm going to remark the last stitch we made. And then we can start with round 8. So for round 8, we're going to chain 1, do 6 decreasing stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. Okay, how is that even possible? Interesting. I think they wrote this wrong. Well, we're going to do decreasing stitches all around. We're not going to end up with 6 stitches. We're going to end up with 3. Okay, so chain 1, okay, and then we're going to do a decreasing stitch, right? Okay, Then we're going to do another decreasing stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do our last decreasing stitch. So when you do decreasing stitches, you're pretty much going to cut your stitch count in half because you're using 2 to make the 1. These instructions sometimes have flaws, and that is a flaw. So we have to repeat the above steps 2 times. We'll see if we can. All right, I removed the marker. We're going to count back 3 stitches. This must have been really wrong because this should have been 6 single crochet stitches and end up with 6. Okay. All right, you guys, this is not my fault. I'm reading this as I go. You can't do 6 decreasing stitches and end up with 6 stitches. You'll end up with 3. And then looking at this, I thought, okay, well, maybe they meant to change it to 3 stitches. But it wants you to repeat the above steps 2 more times to make the arm. And you're not going to get that with decreasing. There's not enough stitches left. So this is what you do. I get we did already the decreasing stitches. But now I'm going to ask you to just remove the hook. You just want to dial it back. You want to pull this very slowly. You're going to see 1 loop come off, 2 loops come off, and then the 3rd one. And then we're going to pull again, and you're going to see these 2 loops go away. And we just removed 1 decreasing stitch. And you know we did 3 of them, so we just have to repeat this 2 more times. So pull the loop out of the stitch. Then you're going to reveal the 3 loops that it took to make it. You want to pull some more to make 1 loop go away, 2 loops go away, and then we have this loop here. Since we have 1 more decreasing stitch, we're just going to have to pull this again 1 more time. So pull this loop out, and you're going to see 3 loops show up. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You're going to pull this more, pull 1 loop out, 2 loops out, and then you have your loop here. Don't pull that out. We're going to put our hook back in. This is where we did chain 1. And if you want, you could go in and put a marker back into the last stitch of that round. Okay. All right. Now we can do a single crochet stitch, and we're going to do 6 of them. So this is what I mean by having quality control. Just look this over and work the project, and if they see something, change it, but they don't do that. Okay, so let's do 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the marker 6. Oops, 6. Okay. Now I'm going to leave the marker in because we do have to repeat this 2 more times. 1, 2. All right, so let's count back 6 stitches from the hook and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your hook into the 6th stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch, and then I'm going to mark the last stitch that we made. And 1,000 apologies, you guys. Like, these instructions, man. All right, chain 1. And we're going to again do 6 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, where the marker is. Leave the marker in, count back 6 and do a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then do a slip stitch. We're going to mark the last stitch we just made, and this is the last round that we're going to do. Okay, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then last one, 6. Okay. So we are going to count back 6 and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Then we're going to remove all the markers. We don't need them anymore. And we're going to fasten this off. It doesn't say to do that, but we're going to be sewing later, so I'm just going to fasten off. You can manipulate your stuffing to fill in the rest of that arm, but I'm going to cut a bit, just kind of guessing how much I'll need. Where's my scissor? Don't know where my scissor is. I'm using my old one. Okay. So to fasten off, what we're going to do after I cut the yarn, you're going to yarn over and then pull all the way out like that. Here's the hook. Then I'm going to tighten this up by pulling on the excess piece to tighten up that loop. And we have our first handmade. Okay, not, I mean, you know, listen, guess it all can't be perfect, right? Again, I'm going to make the second hand off camera, but we're going to move on to the ears and the nose, so we're almost there. Okay, so we're going to make the panda's hand, and we have to start every piece with the magic loop. And how we do that is I'm doing this in righty. If you need a lefty, comment below that you need a lefty. I'll tack it onto my list. If you need urgency in the video happening, I do have a membership where requests are made priority. I have a lot of stuff that I need to get out, as I said earlier, and I'm trying. It's really tough to do these with a full-time, and I do my own editing and everything. Maybe not for the crochet videos, because those are pretty easy, but with all the other videos, it tends to get really busy. But anyway, so you're going to take some of this yarn and you're going to wrap it around your finger 2-3 times. You want to have a little bit of overage so you can put your middle finger on it. And you want to have 3 strands around your finger. So next we are going to go palm up, and I'm going to take my hook, make it face up, and we're going to slip it underneath the 3 strands. Then I'm going to pull that back out and drag this strand underneath these 2. Okay, so you can turn the hook head and drag it, and drag it underneath the 2 strands here like this. Once you get it like this, we're going to yarn over like that. Put the yarn over your hook, and we're going to drag this strand through the loop to close our magic loops. Then I'm going to let go of my middle finger. I'm going to remove this off of my index. Okay, and then we're going to continue on to round 1. So for round 1, we have to chain 1 and do 6 single crochet stitches with a slip stitch and end up with 6 stitches. So how you do that is the chain stitch is the basic stitch, and what you do is you just yarn over and then you pull that through the loop, and that's a chain stitch. Now I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet stitch. So stick your hook into the magic loops. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. And there is our, oh, make sure you clear your yarn. You see how this little piece didn't make it? You got to stick that. The quality of yarn that we're using is not that great, so you'll have splitting in the yarn. But we have our single crochet stitch and our chain stitch. Let's do another one. Stick your hook into the magic loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch. One more time with you guys. So stick your hook into the magic loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches and a chain stitch, and then you just have to do this 3 more times. It's going to be hard to see with the dark yarn, so try to just visualize it on your end. Each stitch looks like a braid. So if you look at it from top view, you should be able to see a nice braid, and that should help you see your stitches better. All right, so now that we have 6 single crochet stitches and our chain stitch, let me just double check. I was talking. 3, 6, okay. So we're gonna hold the bottom of the stitches that we just made, and we're gonna hold it lightly, just to anchor it down here. We're going to pull this excess piece, and we're going to watch to see which loop goes in first. So let's do that now. And once you identify which loop is going in first, which is the one in the back, you want to pull this lower half out. Not the top, but the bottom. So for the loop that went in first, you want to pull that bottom half out, and you're going to see the other loop disappear. Keep pulling till that loop is completely inside the ring. You might still have a little hole or not. We're going to do this loop next, so you want to pull the excess piece again and just pull it till that other loop is disappeared into the ring as well. To make sure your hole is closed, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and up. And you can feel that there's just a little bit more of the yarn you can pull. You don't need to pull it too hard, just enough till you can feel it tug a little bit. So now all we have to do is do our slip stitch. So I'm going to count 6 stitches from our hook. And this is where, again, you might not see it on my end, but on yours, count the braids. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your hook into the 6th stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch. Make sure you clear all of the yarn, because I told you it tends to split because the quality of yarn isn't that great. But once we put our hook in there, we're going to do a slip stitch, which is basically yarning over. And we're going to pull this through all the loops. Like that. And we've completed our slip stitch. And then I'm just going to go take a marker. And I'm going to put this on the top of the last stitch we made. Just under the braid. And close it. This is gonna let you know that you're on whatever, like in my case, the 2nd round. Okay, so now we're going to do the 2nd round, and we have to do a chain 1, a single crochet stitch, an increasing stitch 3 times, a slip stitch, and end up with 9 stitches. So we're going to chain 1, which is yarning over and pulling through the loop. Then we're going to do a single crochet stitch, so into the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet stitch, and then an increasing stitch is basically doing 2 of these in one of the stitches. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here, so 1 and then 2. Stick your hook back into the same stitch we just used and do the second one. So if you look at it closely, we have this one stitch here. If I pull it up, you can see that one loop is making a hole. And we have 1 and 2 single crochet stitches. Here's the single crochet stitch, and here's the chain stitch. All right, so now we just have to repeat this 2 more times. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do a single crochet stitch. And then into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. 1 and 2. All right, we just have to repeat this 1 more time. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, do a single crochet stitch, and then into the last stitch where the marker is, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2. At this point now, you can remove your marker. We don't need it for the moment. I'm going to count back 9 stitches and we're going to do a slip stitch. So 3, 6, 9. Put your hook into the 9th stitch and we're going to do a slip stitch, which is basically a yarn over and pull through all the loops. And then we're going to take our marker again and slip it underneath the braid of the last stitch we made. And then we can move on to rounds 3 through 6. So this is where you're going to need more of these. I can't remember again if they give you these markers in the kits. The first 6 gave markers. I can't remember if this one did. So if this is 3, we have 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so in this case, we just have to do the same instruction until we finish our markers. So for rounds 3 through 6, we have to chain 1 and do 9 single crochet stitches and a slip stitch. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to chain 1, which is a yarn over, and pull through a loop. And then we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're going to leave the marker in because that's going to keep count of what row we're on. So we'll count 9 stitches from the hook. 3, 6, and 9. Stick your hook into the 9th stitch and we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, then we're going to take one of these markers and slip it on the top underneath the braid of the last stitch we made. And you're going to see that it's starting to curl in, which is natural. What you want to do though is you want to invert this, so flip it inside out so that this excess piece is in the inside. So there, I flipped it, and then I just have to keep this piece down. Try not to crochet it into your project. This can act as an extra bit of stuffing in case you are running low on stuffing. But now for the next 3 remaining rows, I'm going to do the same 9 single crochet stitches in silence. Okay, so I've completed rows 3 through 6, and then we're going to do 7. It does say to stuff with fiberfill after 7, but you're going to end up with 6 stitches. So if you can guess for yourself, if the 9 stitches is already too small for you, I would suggest stuffing it now, because of course the smaller the size, the harder it's going to be to stuff. So I am going to get what I need to stuff this hand. And as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't crochet the remaining piece. Crochet the fiber fill, because against the really dark color, you're going to be able to see it if you pull it through the other side. Alright, so for round 7 we have to chain 1, do a single crochet stitch, a decreasing stitch 3 times, and then a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. Okay, so we're going to chain 1. Alright, and then we're going to do a single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do a decreasing stitch. Now a decreasing stitch is taking two stitches and making it into one single crochet stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, then you're going to go into the next stitch over, put in your hook, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you should have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now we just have to repeat this 2 more times. So into the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet stitch, and then into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to start our decreasing stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, then into the next stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops onto your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So one more time, into the next stitch, a single crochet stitch, and then the last 2 stitches we're going to work the decreasing stitch. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch where the marker is, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And now you can remove your marker. We're going to count back to 6 stitches, and we're going to do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stick in your hook, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. Now I'm going to take my marker and stick it under the top of the last stitch that we made, and then we're going to do round 8. So for round 8, chain 1, 6 decreasing stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. So this line is a typo. What they probably meant to say is a chain 1 and do 6 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. Yes, you can look at your pictures. It's very hard to see. So it could very well be, oh, you know what? It's hard to tell. It could be a 3 decreasing stitches and end up with 3 stitches. And this is why sometimes these things suck. To put it in layman's terms, but what we're going to do is 6 single crochet stitches, because it gives you the end of the stitch count. So if you know you have to end up with 6 stitches and you already have 6 stitches, you just have to do 6 single crochet stitches. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, remove the marker. We're going to count back 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and then we're going to fasten off. So this is our arm. I'm going to take, still haven't found my old scissors, my new scissors, so I'm going to take my old ones. We're going to cut. See, if I had my new ones, it wouldn't have done that. We're going to yarn, to fasten off, you have to yarn over, and we're going to pull this whole thing out from the loop, like that. Then pull on this piece to tighten up that stitch. And then you can shape up your hands with that fiber fill. Now you guys, like I said, I'm going to be doing all the second parts off camera. So if you wonder how I did a second one, I just repeated this section. You can go off and rewind and do it again if you'd like, but I'm going to move on to the panda ears. Okay, so for the panda ears, we're going to do our magic ring. So again, yarn over, wrap this around your finger 2-3 times with a little bit of overage. Put your middle finger there. You want to have 3 loops around your finger. We're going to palm up and take our hook. Turn your hook up. We're going to put this underneath the 3 strands, and we're going to pull the hook back out, but we're going to drag this piece underneath these 2. So turn your hook if need be, and pull it under those 2 strands. Now we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull that through the loop to close off this magic ring. Then I'm going to let go of my middle finger. I'm going to slip this off my index finger. And we're going to start round 1, which is a chain 1, 6 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 6 stitches. So yarn over and pull through the loop. Then we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Double check. 3, 6. Okay. So now what we're going to do is grab the excess piece. We're going to grip the lower stitches, and we're going to see which loop goes in first when we pull this. Okay, once we've identified which loop is going in, we're going to pull that bottom half out so that the other loop can disappear. And once that other loop is disappeared into the ring, you can stop pulling. We're going to grab the excess piece and pull this so that the other ring we were pulling disappears into the ring as well. Then I'm going to pull in the opposite direction and up to pull that last bit, and then I'm going to count 6 stitches from the hook, and I'm going to stick in my hook into the 6th stitch, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and I'm going to take my marker and we're going to place it underneath the braid of the last stitch we made, and then we're going to move on to round 2. So for round 2, we're going to do a chain 1, a single crochet stitch, an increasing stitch, and we're going to do it 3 times, and end up, and do a slip stitch and end up with 9 stitches. Okay, so let's chain 1. Okay, we're going to do into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do a single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do an increasing stitch which is the 2 single crochet stitches in that same stitch. And then we just have to repeat this 2 more times. Into the next stitch, a single crochet stitch. Then into the next stitch, we're going to do an increasing stitch. 2. And then we just have to repeat this 1 more time. Into the next stitch, a single crochet stitch. And then into the next stitch and the last stitch where the marker is, put in your hook. And we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here. Okay. So now you can remove this marker. We're going to count back 9 stitches and we're going to do a slip stitch. So 3, 6, 9, put in your hook. And we're going to do a slip stitch. I'm going to remark the top of the last stitch we made. And then we're going to do rounds 3 and 4. So this is 3 and this is 4. We're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. So we're going to chain 1, 9 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch, and end up with 9 stitches. Okay, so hopefully I actually have enough black yarn. If I run out of the black yarn, I'm going to use my own, which is going to be a different size from this, obviously. So we're going to chain 1 and do 9 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, leave that marker there to keep count of your rounds, and I'm going to count back 9 stitches, and we're going to do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 2, 3, 9. Stick in your hook. We're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, I'm going to flip this inside out because it's already curling in. And then again, tuck in the excess piece down in there. Try not to crochet that into your project. Okay. I'm going to put my marker under the top of the last stitch we made. And then we're going to do this 1 more time. So chain 1, and then we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches. 1, oopsie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. Okay, so we finished those 2 rounds. I'm gonna remove the marker. I can actually move all the markers because we're done. I'm gonna count back 9 and do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9. Stick in your hook, and then do a slip stitch. All right. Then I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to fasten it off. Okay. And again, this is a 2-piece, 2 ears, so I'm going to do the second one off camera. And now, last but not least, we are going to do, oh no, we have the legs. Okay. We're going to do the nose first. So, take your, now this is a different yarn from the body because, oh man, whatever, because I ran out. we're making the nose and it's gonna look completely different from the face. What can you do? I don't know. All right. So starting with the magic ring, wrap this around your finger 2-3 times with a little bit of overage to put your middle finger over it. Palm up. We're gonna stick the hook underneath the 3 strands. We're gonna pull it back out and drag this strand underneath these 2. You can turn your hook to the side if you need. And then we're going to yarn over and pull that through the loop to close your ring. Then you can let go of your middle finger and then pull this off of your index. And then we can start our chain 1. Okay. And then we're going to do a 6 single crochet stitch all the way around this loop here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we're going to hold the bottom part of the ring. I'm going to pull this excess piece and we're going to see which loop goes in first. And once you've identified that, you can stop pulling. Now, then you're going to grab the bottom half out from the loop that went in first. So grab that and pull the bottom half. You're going to see the other loop start to disappear. You're going to keep pulling till that other loop is completely gone into the magic ring. Now at this point you might still have a hole. That's okay. Now grab the excess piece and we're going to pull this until the other loop disappears. And then once you hit that stopping point, just pull in the opposite direction and up. You're going to feel a little bit extra yarn left. Stop when, it doesn't budge anymore. And then your hole's completely gone. We're going to count back 6 stitches and then we're going to stick our hook into the 6th stitch and we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay. Mark this up. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, do a single crochet stitch, an increasing stitch 3 times, and then we're going to end up with 9 stitches. So chain 1, we're going to do a single crochet stitch, so into the next stitch, a single crochet stitch, into the next stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches, so 1 and 2. Then we just have to repeat this 2 more times. Into the next stitch, do a single crochet stitch, and then into the next stitch we're going to do an increasing stitch. That's 2 single crochet stitches in this same stitch, and then we just have to repeat this 1 more time. So into the next stitch, do a single crochet stitch, and then into the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2. Alright, so now you can remove your marker. We're going to count back 9 and do a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, stick in your hook, and yarn over it and pull through all loops, and then we're going to put the marker and we're going to move on to the last round. So for the last round we're going to chain 1, do 9 single crochet stitches and a slip stitch, end up with 9 stitches. So that's pretty straightforward, and it seems like these parts so far are all the same instruction. So chain 1 and then 9 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. remove the marker. We're going to count back 9 and do a slip stitch. 3, 6, 9. Put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all loops. Then I'm going to cut this off. We're going to yarn over and pull all the way out from that loop. And we're going to tighten up this stitch. Now I still also have to invert this, so flip it inside out, and you can tuck in the excess piece that can act as part of your stuffing. But here is the nose. Now later on we're going, well, I guess we should do it now, but we're gonna need to do this nose, and let's see if it says use, okay, so it says use black to sew the nose. Okay, I have this little bit here from something, maybe from before. I'm going to use it to make the black nose, so I'm just going to do this already. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to this isn't a lot of yarn we're working with. Wait, let's come in from the underside so I can tie it up. It's just a little bit of planning beforehand. In fact, I'm going to use the white to tie around. That way I don't have a lot of black left. So I'm going to use the little bit I found, and I'm going to try to not waste a single inch off of this. But I'm just going to tie this around twice on the white, tuck it back in. Okay, so now I'm going to make like an upside down triangle for the nose. Okay, I'm just gonna mark up the space for it, and then I'm gonna fill it in as I sew. So we have our little triangular. It's not gonna be perfect, but that's okay. And I don't even know if I'll have enough to cover it well. So maybe I'm gonna make it look like a really not finished nose because I don't have the black to spare. I don't even know if I have enough black to do the arm, but yeah, so I kind of did this, and I'm just gonna, well, I sewn in the white, so maybe I can use a little bit of it to tie my knot. But that's all I can do. Yeah. These kits don't always give you the right amount of yarn that you need to complete the project, unfortunately. But here we have our little nose. So we have that. Last piece, you guys, we are going to be doing the legs. And for this, we're starting with white, so thank goodness. We're going to do the magic ring, and I've already done this 3 times, so if you need to go back and see how I did that again, you can always rewind the video. Otherwise, I'm just going to get this quick because we do have sewing to do, and that's going to take up a good amount of the video. And we are already in a long time right now for this one. So we're going to chain 1 and do 6 single crochet stitches and a slip stitch. So chain 1, 6 single crochet stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I'm going to hold this down, start closing my magic loop. Okay. Now for round 2, we're going to do chain 1 and 6 increasing stitches, and we're going to slip stitch with black. So let's actually mark, before I forget, mark off the top of the last stitch we made. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to do 6 increasing stitches. You know what, let's just make sure. 3, 1, 2, 3, okay. 6 increasing stitches. Again, that's 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch. And you should end up with 12 stitches in the end. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this marker. I'm actually going to pull this out. So pull the loop a little larger and then take out the hook. This is going to keep you from unraveling your project. Then I'm going to grab my black. This is all the black I have left, so I hope I have enough. But we're going to cast on with a slip knot. So take your ring, pinky, and thumb and hold the end of the yarn, and then take your index and ring finger and hold it apart. Then we're going to hold our hook perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to make a loop to where you can go up and down on this yarn here. Slide it down all the way to the thumb. Take your ring middle finger on your right hand and just pinch where it crosses. I'm going to let go of my left, gather up some yarn, then we're going to go back pinching the end and then sliding the hook farther down next to your thumb, and where it crosses just pinch that so that your hook can no longer move up and down. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull that through the loop. I'm going to overhand my hook, continue pinching the end, and I'm going to push this knot towards my thumb. So keep pushing it until you can't anymore. And then we're going to slide this knot towards the hook. Leave yourself some space. We're going to slip this off, pick back up our project, slip the hook back on into the loop, and we're going to tighten up the loop a little bit. Now I'm going to count back 12 stitches. 3, 6, 9, 12. Stick your hook into the 12th stitch. We're going to hold this piece back and we're going to slip on our black. Okay, we're going to pull this through all the loops off of our hook. And then now we can continue on to the next round. You can put in your marker if you'd like. You can also take this moment now to trim off your white piece. Okay, we won't be using it, so you can go low with this. and then I'm going to tie this around this excess piece 2 times to secure it. Okay. Then we're going to continue on to round 3 through 5. This is definitely not enough, so 12 single crochet stitches, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'm going to have to grab my own black that I have somewhere around here. But we're going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do 12 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so actually I don't have enough. So I'm going to go grab my black yarn and I'm going to show you how I'm going to be able to mend them together to make one piece. Okay, so I got my black and I'm just going to tie a knot between these two. That's kind of how the factory does it when they join 2 spools together, and you're just gonna have to work your way around this knot when you get closer to it. And this thickness of yarn is somewhat close to this one, so hopefully it won't be too big of a change. But so we transitioned to the black yarn, and I did 12 single crochet stitches, so 3, 6, 9, 12. It's this right here. I'm going to stick my hook into the 12th stitch and do a slip stitch. Now I think I've just removed the marker, but that was 3. This is 4. And then I'm going to leave one more for 5. Okay, and then we're going to continue this. Chain 1 and 12 single crochet stitches. So here's my knot. I'm going to try to hold this back behind the project. That way it won't show when we flip the right side out. And this is how you would try to do it anytime you will at some point if you crochet a lot here after this. Hopefully you do. You'll see at some point some spools of yarn or skeins of yarn that you buy from the store. Manufacturing will combine, they have larger spools if you can imagine, and when they use one up they just tie the 2 ends together like this to continue the yarn. So it's not anything fancy, but it does the trick. Okay, so then once we get to the 4th round, I'm probably going to flip this after this round because it's curling in more. Let me just count back to 12 stitches. 3, 6, 9, and 12. Stick your hook in, do your slip stitch, and then I'm going to flip this inside out. Okay, and I'm going to mark the last stitch, and then we're going to repeat this one more time. So chain 1 and then 12 single crochet stitches. Okay, so I completed the 5th round. I'm just going to mark this last stitch. Okay, then for round 6 we're going to chain 1. We're going to do a single crochet stitch, a decreasing stitch 4 times, and end up with 8 stitches. So let's do this now. Chain 1, a single crochet stitch, then a decreasing stitch, I'll repeat this 3 more times. Single crochet stitch, a decreasing stitch, right, repeat this 2 more times. Single crochet stitch, then a decreasing stitch, single crochet stitch, and a decreasing stitch. Okay, then I'm going to count back 8 and do a slip stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put your hook into the 8th stitch and do a slip stitch. I'm going to remove this marker and put it on the top of the last stitch we made. Then I'm going to continue with rows 7 and 8. So 7 and 8. What we're going to do is chain 1 and do 8 single crochet stitches with a slip stitch and end up with 8 stitches. And we're doing that for rows 7 and 8. So chain 1 and 8 single crochet stitches. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, last round. Then we can sew all these pieces together. Go remove these markers. And I'm going to cut myself some tail. And this is my yarn now, so I probably did more than I needed. Right. Again, fasten off, just yarn over and pull this all the way out. And then we're going to tighten up that stitch. And then I'm going to stuff with the remaining fiber fill that I have. I actually am going to leave this little piece because I might need it for the nose. So with this left over, I'm just going to shove this down here. And it's not much. I do have extra fiber fill that I purchased myself, but I'm just going to leave this. Okay, so let's get our panda. We're going to sew this all together. Sew the head with body together. Oh, that's funny because it just continues. Was I not supposed to put the head and body together? Oh, I must have... I don't remember how I did this. Maybe I sewn it together? Yeah, maybe I sewn it together already. Who knows? Anyway. Sew the hands with the body together. So hands, ears, legs, and mouth. And nose. Okay, we did the mouth when we did the nose. So I'm gonna get all my pieces. We have a leg. We have the other leg. Let me check it against their black versus, oh. So obviously the white's different from their white. And then the black is slightly different because this is their yarn and it's smaller and this one's a little bigger. I don't know, man. Oh well. And then here is one hand. Here's the other hand. Here's the nose, and then we have the two ears. And you know what? I'm gonna already take this and just shove this in there so I don't forget that I've got this little bit of fiber fill left for the nose. It didn't say put fiber fill, but I am doing it anyway. So we've got the hands, the ears, the legs, and then the nose. Okay, so let's start with this. I'm gonna get my needle that came with the kit. If you have something like this, just trim off that piece. We're gonna put this in the eyelet. And then we're going to sew the hands on. So it looks like it's coming off of the black band we've got here. So I think as long as we, look at the arms. These are just so large for the body. Oh. Yeah, not really liking this, but we'll see. So I'm going to just guesstimate where the hand should go. And it's looking like it's going around the black band, so we got to make sure that I keep this within the 2 rows of black that we have going on here. Alright, by any means necessary. I'm not a seamstress. I don't know how to sew, so this part, like, I kind of just do whatever. So hopefully you're not 100% following me if you do know more about sewing than I do. Okay, once I get all the way around, I'm going to find my moment to make my knot, and I just wrap it twice around the loop, and I just pull. Whether or not that's sturdy, I'm not sure. But it seems to be making a knot, so again, you don't have to follow me if you know a better way to do this. Right, so then just under the surface, let's do the back of the head. Put in your hook just under the surface. You want to avoid the fiber fill. I want to come up where the excess piece is, and then I'm going to yarn over the hook and pull that piece back into the body till the end disappears, and then you can pull out your hook. And then we're going to do the next arm. Look at how big this arm is. This is not cool. Oh well. Okay. Next. So maybe for this one I definitely cut way too much tail. It's so hard to tail. It's so hard to tell. I wish that they just gave you more than enough, than the bare minimum. If you have a history with these Crafter Square kits, you'll find that this is a thing and that you should make tighter stitches, but that's not how it should be. Like, crocheting is supposed to be relaxing, and when you do tight stitches, you kind of tense up your hands, and if you have arthritis, I don't know, carpal tunnel, something like that, it's just not, you know, it's not nice. So when I crochet or knit, I don't have any of that, but I do sit for hours and crochet or knit, and I have to do it with a loose grip so that my hands don't cramp up, because they will. And on top of that, depending on how hard you're holding your hook or you're holding your needles, mine are made out of metal. I don't know which ones you have, but this is cheap plastic. Your heat from your hand is going to make it bend. I can already just bend it now. So if you're tense trying to do tight stitches, you could potentially mold this thing to permanently bend or break. You never know. Like I said, I have metal ones. So in the past, starting out, I would leave indentations like holding a pencil, and it would hurt. And then what else? I mean, if you have wood, I mean, any hard one, I guess. So yeah, I just wish they gave you more material. Because as a beginner, you tend to do tighter stitches anyway, but you're supposed to kind of break out of that. Because when you do tighter stitches, it's really hard to get your hook into those stitches. And then just having a tenser grip can potentially end up with inconsistent spacing or sizes of stitches too. So it's not beginner friendly in a sense. Like, it's not a good thing to create that habit of making tight stitches. So, alright, got my other hand. Can't put my arms down. Then it says to do the ears. Okay. And they don't locate. Some kits will tell you which rows to put in and how far apart they should be. So this is not that. So you just gotta kind of play with the locations of it. you know, I want to make sure it looks like a panda and not a cat. So not too sure exactly how long this video is already. I really hope that it's not too long, but I'm trying to fit all of it in so that this panda is done in 2 videos. I did post the first one such a while ago, and I really apologize for the late posting. I have been on a business trip, and I feel like I'm still in Mississippi right now. That jet lag is real, which is crazy because when I was younger, I used to fly a lot to the Philippines, and I bounced back real quick. It really wasn't any issue, but this trip just really drained me. So I haven't been able to film normal for ever since I got back. I think it's only been almost 2 weeks since I've been back, but I feel like I just got back still. So, and then I have another trip coming up, so I'm going to be back to square one, trying to get back to a normal schedule. For those that watch my crochet videos, thank you so much, by the way. I appreciate your support. As you know, I also do nails. So I'm back to, I just unboxed a mystery box, so I'm back to doing my dailies. So you're going to see a nail video every day. You don't have to watch it at all, really. But it's going to be there. And then hopefully I could still keep up with the crochet videos, but we'll see. The business trips definitely throw a wrench in what I'm doing. So I think work in general, if I have projects that are due at a certain time, I just focus on work, you know, because that's my main job. This YouTube is technically a full-time. For anyone that ends up doing their own channel, it is a full-time. You're between filming and editing, but essentially it is a quote-unquote hobby. Man, the ears are probably too low. Whatever. I think now it looks like a mouse. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Okay. think the ears are not even, and they're off to the side of the head like crazy. I think there should have been up one row. What can you do? I could undo it and make it higher, but I'm just gonna leave it. Alright, then we gotta sew the legs, the different size legs. Well, I did tell you that I'm not a sewer, so I probably should have focused more on putting it at least in the right spot. Alright. So it's kind of flat against the edge here. So I'm going to try to just put it in line with the hands. And hopefully it doesn't look too terrible. But I feel like the legs are just way too big for the body. The hands are way too big for the body. Comment below, let me know how yours is turning out, if it seems a little oddly shaped. If you didn't pull it all the way out, you can stick your hook back out near that excess piece and just yarn over and pull the rest in. And do that as many times until it disappears. Alright, we got one leg, which I feel like should have had a... This is horrible. In a situation like this, let's see. You could come in here, right, and you could put this one end through a stitch, and then we're gonna just go in with the other end and pull that through the leg, and then we'll just tie this together, and then you just feed it into the body like we did with all the other excess pieces. And you can do this if you feel like the legs or the arms. Essentially, I could do that with the arms if they're not staying down. Let's see. You can also poke it all the way through to get a nice clean removal. So, and then I could just tie the hand to the leg so it stays down. But I might not mess with the arm. I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but I feel like not even bothering. First pancake. If you have your own skeins of yarn, you can make this as many times as you want. Alright, let's put the other leg on. We're going to try to match it to the height of the other leg, and then just under the hand. Okay, and now that we know that we tied the leg closer to the body, once I finish sewing this part, I know I have to go in that same area of this leg and sew it to the body, rather than cutting this and then having to just get another piece. So while you're still here with this same yarn, you can make sure, and I'm just going to go into this part of the leg and come back out. Then I'm going to take the yarn and put it somewhat in the same area as I did the other leg, like this, and then I'm going to sew it to the body like this, and then just figure out a way to create a knot. I'm going to come up back here. Okay, and I'm going to find a moment to make a knot. Okay, cut this off. We're going to hide this. Okay, so the last part we have left, it's not terrible. The last part we have left is the nose. And looks like we just want to put it right below the eyes. We got to make sure that we put the nose, the triangle nose that I sewn on here, we put it in the right orientation so it's not upside down or crooked. So that's going to be the challenge. Okay. So the triangle is going this way. Here is where I'm going to put the nose. This is larger because I used a different yarn. What I'm going to do is try to sew it. I'm going to try to sew it maybe at the third one. Let's see. Third row from the eyes, maybe yours would be the second one, because again, this is way larger than I wanted it to be because I used my own yarn. And I'm just going to sew this around and hopefully it shapes fine because this is very large. Okay. I guess the blend isn't too bad, actually. We're gonna hide this last piece here. And we're gonna be done. So okay, here's our panda, you guys. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it I could fix this actually. Now that I have some leftover black. Okay, and I guess how to hide this, I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll just kind of maybe work my needle to come up into the ear. That way I can tie it back here then in front of the nose. I just got to make sure that I'm not pulling it too tight. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this around the stitch in the back. Okay, now we're done. It's not perfect, but it works. So here's the end result. You know, I like doing my side by side. Ay, ay. Oh man, the face is really pointy, so it looks more like a dog. The ears are lopsided. Oh man. Okay. Well, here you have it, my panda. Comment below, let me know what yours look like, if it came out all right. Let me know if you have any ways that made your experience easier. Let me know the sections that made your life more difficult. And mind you, this is regarding the instructions. The instructions, if they're not good, it's hard to interpret them correctly. And also, it's a matter of interpretation. So this is my version of interpreting their instructions. I might be doing some things that are not correct, but I got this done. So let me know how yours went. At any rate, thank you so much, guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again. I'm going to be doing the cactus next, and then the bee, and then the remaining characters. I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.